So here at the whiteboard, we are going to practice filling in rests in hybrid meter, which is something you are certainly going to have to do on your level 8 RCM exam. Now the steps are as follows. First, you have to figure out the groupings, and then you complete any unfinished groupings from the outsides inwards, and then you finish anything that's left over in the middle. So first, down here, the first thing we're going to do is filling in rests in a bar of 7, 4. Now before we do that, let's just review the rest rules so that we have something to look at and point to in case you didn't watch one of my earlier videos in level 5. Just as a review, if we have a group of 2 things, you are allowed to attach 2 beats within 1 rest. If you have a group of 3 subdivisions, you are allowed to attach the front 2, the whole thing, but not the back 2. And if you have a group of 4 things, you can attach the whole thing, you can attach the front 2, you can attach the back 2, but you cannot attach the middle 2 in a group of 4. So we'll leave that there to look at, just in case you've forgotten your rest grouping rules. Now, let's go ahead and fill in the rest for this bar of 7, 4. The first thing we have to do is figure out what the groupings actually are. Now, over at the piano, we talked about all the different subdivisions that a bar of 7 anything can have. We can go 3 plus 2 plus 2, or we can go 2 plus 2 plus 3, or we can go 2 plus 3 plus 2. I'm going to go with 3 plus 2 plus 2 today, because that's what I feel like. It's up to you. And we will help the examiner by notifying him what we decided and putting the subdivision in brackets above the question like this. Okay, so this is really useful for you and your examiner because it will help you compare your subdivisions to what you've written, and your examiner will know what you are trying to do in case your writing turns out to be a little messy or you wrote something a little vague. Now let's write the groupings underneath the bar so we can see exactly what we're doing. So we want 3 quarter notes plus 2 quarter notes plus 2 quarter notes. So I'm going to write a little diagram down here. There's the 3 quarter notes. There's the middle 2 quarter notes. And here's the back 2 quarter notes. And this way I can't possibly get lost because I have written my groupings underneath. Now we're on to step 2. Now we're going to start by working our way from the outsides in and finishing these 2 unfinished groups first. So let's start from the front. Now back in level 5, we learned that a 32nd note triplet is worth an 8th note. I know that there are 2 8th notes in this 1 quarter note, so that's 1 taken care of. Now we only need 1 more 8th rest to complete this first quarter note in my diagram. So I'm going to go ahead and draw an 8th rest there. That takes care of that, which takes care of this. Good. Now in this first group, we have 2 quarter notes left. Remember, I can't attach them because you can't attach the back 2 in a group of 3 things. So these have to be represented by 2 individual rests, a quarter rest and another quarter rest. And I will cross them out. So that is done. That first group is finished. Now don't go to the middle. We're working from the outsides in. So let's go here now. Here's a dotted 16th note. And back in level 5, we learned that a dotted 16th, we learned that a dot is half of whatever came before it. So this dot must be a 32nd note. That's a lot of subdividing. Let's start here. There are 4 16th notes in a quarter note. For this 16th note, 1 is gone. And then there's half of a 16th note in the dot. That's a 30-second note. So if I put a 30-second rest, the 30-second rest plus this dot will eliminate another 16th note. Now we only have 2 16th notes left over for this quarter. And I know 2 16th notes can be attached. That's okay in a group of 4 things. We're allowed to do that. So I'm going to go ahead and combine these 2 16th notes into one 8th rest, which means now that is crossed off. All that's left in this group is 1/4 note. That's easy. I can represent it with a quarter rest. Now we're on the last step. Now we have to complete the remaining group in the middle. Easy. Two things. I'm allowed to attach them. So what rest represents 2 quarter notes? That would be a half rest. Cross out, cross out. 3 plus 2 plus 2. There we have it. We have completed rests for the hybrid meter of 7/4. Now let's complete this bar of 11/16. Now, if you watched my piano introduction to this lesson, we covered time signatures with 5, 7, and 10. And I said I was going to cover 11, and it slipped my mind while I was filming. So we haven't looked at 11 yet, so let's do that now. The subdivision for 11 can be 4 plus 4 plus 3, or it can be 3 plus 4 plus 4, or it could be 4 plus 3 plus 4. I'm going to choose to do 4 plus 4 plus 3 in this particular question. So I'm going to help my examiner by notifying him of my decision. 4 plus 4 plus 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. And we are going to have to fill in the rests within this bracket. So step 1 is to figure out the groupings. We've done that. Now I'm going to write my groupings diagram underneath the bar. 11/16 notes, so there's 4 16th notes as my first group. Another 4 16th notes as my next group. And 3 16th notes as the final group. Okay, now step 2. Now we're going to work our way from the outsides in. Let's start with the front of the bar. Here we have a pair of 30-second notes. Now, 2 30-second notes, which we learned in level 6, equal 1 16th. So I'm going to go ahead and cross that off. Here's another 16th. That's easy. I can cross that off. Now, this group has 2 16th notes left over. And I know, because of my rest diagrams down here, that I am allowed to attach the back 2 things in a group of 4. So one rest that represents 2 16th notes would be an 8th. Done. Now we come over here and we work our way from this side. Here's a poorly drawn 30-second note. I know that a 30-second note is half of 1 16th, so that's 1/2 of that gone. And now I need to finish the second half, and I can do that with a 30-second rest. And now that 16th is gone. Now there's 2 notes left over in our group of 3, and we are allowed to attach the front 2. So let's go ahead and do that. I'm going to combine these 2 subdivisions within 1/8 rest. And now finally, we have the middle group left over. That's 4 16th notes. That's very easy. All of those fit into a quarter rest. And that is the correct answer for 11/16, that hybrid meter. So remember, on your level 8 exam, You will be asked to fill in rests in a hybrid meter. You will be asked to look at music and label the time signatures, which now can include hybrid meter. Or you could be given a piece of music in hybrid meter where they've removed the bar lines and you have to add the bar lines in yourself. Remember, there are lots of complex time signatures, but if you focus on 5s, 7s, 10s, and 11s, you will do well on your exam. They won't ask you any other crazy numbers. 5, 7, 10, and 11 are the hybrid meters you need to prioritize, even though others exist, and they've even mentioned them a little bit in your textbook. 5, 7, 10, 11. Now, if you want even more practice, you can go to the Classical Context website, to the Level 8 page, and there's a hybrid meter worksheet that has all sorts of questions like the ones we just did together, and you can practice for your Level 8 exam that way.